just send it into the chat here.
Yeah.
So we're actually live.
And then you
hey,
can-
everybody.
G'day.
Working on some technical stuff on the end, but it's all good. It's good to see you, Joe. Hopefully others will join us soon. It's been far too long, and it feels good to be with family and friends. So how's everybody doing?
Great.
I've got Polly here with me, and
I'm doing pretty well.
We're doing 1983 because simulcasting doesn't work, so we're gonna get it all out here. And of course, I've got my sister Luna and my sister Nano girls here with me. So we were just behind the scenes catching up briefly and lost track of time, but here we are.
Yeah. All right. I've done my computer stuff. I'm with you now.
You are always with us.
Yeah, well, g'day, everyone. G'day, Sharon. G'day, Polly. Good to see you. G'day, Jules.
G'day.
Everyone.
It's good to see all of you again. It's been a while since since I've been able to show up. So awesome to see everybody.
This feels like a round table.
It does.
Oh,
This is like the old round table days.
I know.
Yeah, I'm in the corner seat.
I miss those round tables. As I've been sitting here and I've been like writing stuff, I have to look at words and it's like that's a completely different meaning now.
I thought I had a hat around here too. I don't. Everything's all packed up, so I don't know where.
If it's hat night, I'll go grab the hat.
You know the hat people?
Hat people.
I'm wearing a toque, eh? I'm not wearing a hat. I'm wearing a toque.
So I was doing my calculations this morning while I was getting ready and finding out where I was and what I was doing in 1983. It took a while.
I don't think I want to know what I was doing in 1983.
Well, I was thinking that while I was going back in my memories, but then I struck upon it and I thought, you know what, that was really good. I was doing martial arts and I was teaching children and women self-defense. Oh, yes.
And I think I was burning ants with a magnifying glass.
Yeah, well, I was
1983.
I found it.
Cool. Yoo-hoo. We got it going on now, people.
I feel like Truman Capote.
Love it. Love it. Yeah.
I feel like now I'm underdressed. I need to get a different hat.
Oh no, you're perfect. You started the trend. You started the trend.
Yeah, you got the perfect. If I had a hat like that, I'd just throw that on instead. This is fine. These are This one's handy because I remember throwing it in a bag today because I have to take it over to the new place. It's like, where was that bag?
Mine was right there. I wondered why I didn't put it away.
I love it.
It's been that cold here. I've had to wear a woolen hat. But today's actually warm. It's the first warm day we've got. It's 22 degrees Celsius. And that's probably why I got more life in me.
Now, what's 22
Speaking of temperatures,
what is that in America? Is that?
it's hot.
Oh, okay.
No, it's room temperature actually.
It's not.
No, it's room temperature.
Yeah, room temperature.
What's
What's that? Your
conversion
chart?
chart?
Oh, I
All
gotta
right.
get one of those, Jules.
You know,
I have too many
this-
American friends. I can't tell them what the temperature is here,
I
except
was-
it's just really
I was
friggin' hot.
shipping out something for a customer, and this fell out of their paperwork.
Oh,
and they
wow.
let me make a copy of it. So
Yeah.
I have Celsius Fahrenheit conversion.
Okay.
Cool.
And let's see, 20 degrees Fahrenheit is negative 18 Celsius. So about 25 Celsius is about 55 Fahrenheit.
So it's 55.
Right now, it feels like 32. They say, oh, it's only 28 degrees, but it feels like 32, which makes me think, well, why don't you just say it's 32 degrees then?
Yeah, you know what I noticed though, when you look at the temperature number and then you actually go outside, it's different. Because I always check the air temperature, and they'll go, it's 22, it's sunny. That's standing in the sun, because if you stand in the shade, you're going to freeze your butt off. Yeah, that's how I do it. So I often actually go outside, stand in the sun for a minute, stand in the shade for a minute, and then decide what temperature it actually feels like. There is a temperature guide you can get that says actual temperature of what it really feels like, and then it's got the numbers of what they forecast. So
I'll have to look that up.
yeah, check it out.
Yeah, not to take this down to a different avenue, but
Yep.
they didn't start testing for years. They used to get the temperature. They used to test the temperature of the air. Now they test the temperature of the ground, and that's the whole
Gotcha.
what's going on with things changing and involving climate.
And
It's just
terraforming.
coincidental that they're using a different format to read things.
Well, I always kind of wonder if they're doing a little bit of a terraforming kind of project.
Trying.
And somebody said,
Oh,
and they're not terraforming.
I think they've been doing it for years.
Yeah, they have. You know, in the old days, they used to do weather modification, and they picked up from where they left off and kept it a secret this time, though, and then built better ones. Yeah, they used to have, when they were looking at the old world buildings and all that, those people. I do that too. I love that stuff. Mud flood theory, you know, all that. Anyway, yeah, they found weather changing machines back then, in a long time ago, 1700s and stuff. So it's nothing new. I wish they'd just leave it alone and let nature take its course.
Wouldn't that be nice? I think we'd go back to regular weather, like
We would.
Yeah,
Beautiful weather.
where we could.
I totally think so
Exactly.
too. In fact, I think the reason that we have such catastrophic fires here in Canada, at least right this
In
year,
California.
is because we've been fighting them for so long. And so there's all that wood that's supposed to be burnt like 10 years ago. It's just all
Right.
gathered up, and now we have this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, not to mention, I think we have a little help with laser, right? You got the laser technology. You've got, I do think they have a plan for clearing certain aspects, probably of Canada, certain places in Canada, certainly in California, right? Because we lost lots of Napa homes, Santa Cruz, Big Sur. Those are really strategic places in California that have had catastrophic fires in these last 5 or 6 years. So, and I think this year Canada got hit just like California. You know, everything I watched, it had the look and feel of California. Like even the air, right? That red air, that red atmosphere from the fires.
I'll tell you something strange.
I hear
Yesterday,
you, bud.
got up early.
It's all frequency.
Yeah.
Got up early yesterday morning, watched the sunrise, looked outside and went, someone got their bottles mixed up this morning, because the sunrise actually looked the same colour as the sunset, and the sunset was all white and clear like the sunrise. Someone got it mixed up. And then no one actually said anything. And then when I went to work, and one of the girls come up and went, "Did you see the sunrise this morning?" And I went, "Yeah, I did." She said, "Yeah, look at the colours." I went, "Yeah, that was the sunset colours." And then I watched the sunset. They were the morning colours. I'm thinking, what's going on? Everything's going back. Everything's opposite.
Right.
Everything. We're in an upside down world right now.
Yeah, you're used to that down there, though, aren't you? Everything's upside down there.
Maybe we're tipping around the right way, and that's why it's happening. I knew it would be the upside down.
But I like it. That's from Stranger Things, that upside down world. I feel like we've all fallen through, and we're all in upside down land. Absolutely.
I felt like one day we woke up, and my daughters were quite really young at the time, and they even sensed something wrong in the time place, you know. And they said, "Mum, there's something wrong. We've lost time."
Mm.
And I thought, I was thinking that, but this come out of the young kids, right? The innocent mouths. For them to realise we've lost time and something's gone astray. Yeah, I know. I paid attention to that. And it does. It feels like we all wake up one morning and went, "Hang on a minute. This isn't the same as where we were yesterday. It was
Well,
You notice though, people never wake up and say, "Oh my gosh, I just found some time."
no. No. Even if we do, I don't think we don't mention finding it. We just mention losing it.
I woke up with 3 extra hours in my pocket.
I do have days like that though, where it just feels like forever. It's like, is it still Tuesday? Is it only 11 o'clock? I mean, I have noticed that recently as well as the other thing. So
I think we're commanding time better because we can make 1 minute seem like an hour and 1 hour seem like a minute. If we have control of our little energy bubble thing, right?
right.
You can sit there and work away and go, oh wow, I got all that done so quickly. Or you can sit there and work away and go, oh my God, I've only got this much fruit and I've got that much to do. And make it, we're not aware that we can do that. Well, and whatever's going on, whoever had hold of us, I think they're releasing, and all these are things starting to happen now. We're becoming aware that we can do these things. Anyway, I don't want to get to that level. I want to go to 1983.
Right.
I had to remember what I was doing.
I think you have a point, and I think that the more we sort of walk away from their game plan, the more we start to create our own reality. We create our own. We have our own friends. We just keep walking away from the insanity, right? It's just like, okay, I don't want nothing to do with that. Whatever that is over there, I don't want it.
That's part of the nerd project. I just finished up the tarot. That's the magician. You manifest and create your reality.
Yeah, you make your own garden as you walk instead of sitting in someone else's garden and putting up with all the thorns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, but you gotta be free enough to do that and know what to listen to, what not. You're on the right path there.
Oh yeah.
So good to see you all. I've been busy and I've been thinking about everyone, thinking I've got to get back on that YouTube. Oh, by the way, I'm going to have to chuck out a couple of shows because I don't know if you are aware that we're going to get a new law and it's going to come across all the computer and the phones and the emails and all that, and we've got to be careful what you say and do.
All right. I'm free this weekend. Pencil me in. We'll sit down and we'll schedule code words. We'll be like the Da Vinci Code. We'll have our own like internal. This is what this means. Set your dial. It'll be like a Christmas story. Okay, set your dial.
Company.
remember to drink your Ovaltine. What a crummy promotion.
Ovaltine. I'm not that old yet.
Hey, wasn't that 1983? I think that was 1983.
Most of the people I listen to, they've been doing that for a long time. They don't use real words anymore. Everything is a metaphor, or like this. They won't even say the words. They'll go like that. And we all know what that is, right? So we've already got a second language that we're already in agreement of what it is, right? It's really interesting. Exactly. One guy calls it fluff tube because he goes, be careful of fluff tube. They can't handle it.
I'll go back to what I said in the beginning. If you ever remember a few years ago,
I like that.
Talking about pink unicorns and the pink unicorn poison that comes out of their little horn.
Oh,
remember that? The pink unicorn and the pink unicorn poison?
Yes.
You gotta be careful of those pink unicorns, man.
I like the jib jab.
I thought that was icing.
Icing. Yeah, the icing on the cake's coming. Everything's coming.
So
I thought that was icing.
Is that a chocolate cake or a yellow cake?
Okay, we will.
Don't eat the yellow cake.
unless it's rum cake.
I've got to tell you something funny, and I know this is off the topic. When I went to the aquarium the other day and we went to see the penguins, I had a question. So I'm standing there looking at the penguins, and they're peeing and pooping on the ice, and it's frozen. So how come the South Pole's not full of yellow snow? Do you get what I'm saying? Well, how does it clean? Like, and it doesn't rain there. And I said to my girls, take
They
a
must
look at
just
that. You'll
spray
never see
over
that
it
again.
with new snow, I guess.
I don't know. It's just something I
That's a
thought.
good question, Luna. We need to look into that.
Oh, yeah, I need to. It was just. I know it's a stupid thing to look at, but it was
No,
right there
no.
in front of me.
And you mentioned that, and it's a
Uh,
lot.
Another question
I'm not
too is
clever enough. I was going to say, Luna said that. and
also
I'm not
another
clever
question.
enough. There's a joke in there with something pertaining to ice, penguins, and Polaroids. There's a joke in there, but I can't string it together.
Well, has anyone seen that movie, The March of the Penguins? I didn't see any yellow snow anywhere through that whole movie, and there were thousands of penguins in that movie, and not one piece of yellow snow. Maybe penguins don't pee,
They do. I saw it.
or maybe their pee is white.
They don't pee on set. They were on set.
They're professionals. Yeah, they're professionals.
Exactly. There's no pee on set.
You get fish if you don't pee.
Sorry about that. It's just something I observed the other day, right? I noticed it. It's like baby pigeons, you know.
I like silly questions like that. Wait a minute.
Yeah, had a good day. We went into the city, see. I didn't pull out my camera. Gee, I'm a terrible YouTuber. You know, I don't know if you are up on mud flood things, but on the ground before they rose the level of the street, because they raised the level of the street, they put in these little glass things on the footpath, and that's so underneath could get light. And I'm standing in front of this building, and I looked down, and there they were right in front of me, but I didn't take no photos. I should have took photos and stuff. So that was interesting.
No, it's all good. I'm such a terrible YouTuber that it's been more than 3 months since I've done anything, since I've done a stream, and I'm such a professional. I don't refer to it as a show. It's a stream.
It's a stream.
And when I set my streams up, they are, no joke, they are set up as comedy.
I love it. Oh, I just wanted to acknowledge Buzz. I should have he says I should have my poetry book published by Xmas, and I have included my tribute poem to Kev.
Oh,
good
that's
job.
fantastic, Buzz.
I know.
Buzz.
We were just talking about Kev before everybody showed up, because it was his birthday this month. So, and it's good to see everybody. Hello to everybody in the chat today.
Yeah, and chat, we've got Connie, Buzz, Malaya, Ron, this crazy person named Luna is in my chat.
Yep.
And Joe is with us.
Yeah.
And if I missed anybody else, my apologies. But yeah, so Luna's up and gone. So how was your week, Polly? Because I didn't do a lot of listening to music. I was kind of preoccupied, but
My week's
83
been
is
normal.
a big bag. And
So basically, most of my weeks consist of 2 lives: one where I go to work and one where I don't.
right,
So
I can relate
as
to
long
that.
as there's a balance between those 2 lives, it's a good week.
I can't say that because I work at home and out of home. I'm always working. It's good to see you, Polly. Good to see you, Sharon.
It's
know.
good to see everyone.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's been a minute for Nano as well. I haven't seen Nano in months, and Jules same. It's been a while, so it's good to be back and chatting, just like the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week, me and Polly tried to simulcast and get on the banner on the bottom of the screen. That's what's bringing us here. My friend Polly has a beautiful radio show on Independent Broadcasting Network, And since I can't play any tunes here because I'll get copywritten and struck down, I figured we could at least yarn about 80 stuff here. And we're up to 83.
Oh,
83,
I think this is actually a better idea.
83 was...
Like,
I have a lot of memories from 83. I was young, but I was old enough to have knowledge. I remember the fashion. I remember the music. A lot of one-hit wonders, TV shows, and fitting that what brought me and Nano Girl together was V, and V was from 1983.
I remember being
Cool.
coming out because me and a girl were a bit older at that time. And I'm like, yay, they're finally telling people there's lizard people. Like, I knew that was the first time it came out. And then I realized it was a TV show and no one would believe.
You know, and it's in the past, looking back on it, in the past 2 years since me and Nano did the V show, more and more people are willing to hear or acknowledge the whole term concept reptilians. Specifically after lockdowns. And I mean, and people years ago were, oh, David, he's crazy. And now, I mean, reptilians, and conversation just with normal people, I've heard them mention reptilian. So I mean, who it's like everything is just coming around in a circle. And I've been working on a project that's going to bring everything together. And I wish that I could show you guys now, but I'm about halfway through and I'm diligently working on it. And maybe by early February, we'll see.
Cool.
So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
Did anybody catch either Dark Journalist, Alex Jones, or the UAP business? Speaking of aliens, this week, I mean,
that about there are aliens, but the false flag alien thing is what they're working on, something like that.
I listened. I could only tolerate so much of their crap in Washington, but this Goresh guy, he's the new star, right? And he's just like, they're there, and we need to worry about them. And I thought the only reptilians we need to worry about are the people in Washington. But sorry,
I caught bits and pieces of it, and my perspective, they've got other people lined up. I mean, this Goresh, he's the it right now.
Yeah,
he's the Lou Elizondo of men, and they're going to have another one come up, and another one come up, and another one come up.
Yeah,
it's just, I can't help but feel it's part of the bread and circus for something else.
It's a federal crime to lie in front of Congress, though, so he must be telling the truth.
Oh, absolutely. Well, look who was sitting behind him. It was Clapper, right? Wasn't it the CIA?
Yeah, exactly. If you look who's sitting behind him, there's like, what's his name? Jeremy something. The guy with the beard. He's like, I can't remember his name. But yeah, that's him. Yeah, Corbell. Yeah, he's sitting in there. Like, what's he doing there? He doesn't belong in the same building as Congress.
The Clapper.
Exactly. Was that from 1983 as well? Because that would be perfect.
Well, I mean, the thing that bugs me is that I used to be into this subject a lot, and I had taken it pretty seriously. And we don't know, as far as I'm concerned, with all of the BS that's going on, I don't know anything more. In fact, I know less. I'm actually stupider by listening to them than I was 20 or 30 years ago. Seriously. I used to go to the UFO conventions and talk to people seriously, right? And actually meet decent people. But I just feel like listening to them makes me stupider. And I can't stand it. It's like, it's all a game. It's all part of their, like you said, the bread and circuses of 2023. That's all it is. And they want to use it. They want to own it. They want to be in total control of it. It's like, whatever. Go ahead.
Just conveniently timed with the case for the president's son.
Oh, yes, wasn't it? The infamous laptop and all of the money. What is it up to, like 17 or 18 million dollars these kids were paid off, the kid and the dad, and nobody's taking it serious. Like, one of my friends, the couple, like, she came over for lunch about a month ago, and she said she thinks Biden's doing a great job, and I thought, are you kidding
Of what?
me? Exactly.
No, I mean, Buzz has got it. I mean, because it literally it is. AI is one of the biggest divides that's out there right now. I was talking about this earlier today with some coworkers of mine on how they don't see what else is going on because AI will take their search, what they're into, and it'll feed it in their social media feeds. So that's all they see. They don't see other stuff. They only see what the computer thinks that they're going to be interested in.
The algorithm, we've set the algorithm and it keeps sending us the same hogwash. I agree. Yeah.
Unless you know how to train your algorithm.
Well, I've tried to jump around, so I want to know what's going on in Ukraine. I want to know what's, there's certain subjects I want to know financially.
Mm-hmm.
These are the highlights. Okay, so what's happening? What are the highlights, right? What about AI? What about? But what is similar is I also want to listen to people who have a sense of spirituality to them. If they don't, I don't want to listen to them.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a time of growth and change. And I want to listen to people this is impacting them. They're waking up because of it, right? There has to be a sense of that in anything I listen to. Otherwise I get bored. I find myself speaking of bored, have you noticed there's nothing good to watch anymore? Right? It's over. It's like, not only are they on strike, right? The Hollywood folks, the writers and the actors, there's nothing to watch. I'm watching crap from the 90s.
You should try going and watching the sky for a couple of minutes. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really probably where all the good stuff.
It's way more entertaining.
Is this where I can tell everyone that there's a movie coming about an alien crashing on Earth and in someone's backyard and they look after it? The name of the movie is called Jules.
And the irony is that my avatar is the Starbucks alien.
No, yeah. Did you have something?
That's right. It is, yeah.
No, I mean it's the Starbucks alien serving a cup of coffee.
Yep.
It looks like Paul the alien.
No, that's
a funny movie. Paul was a funny movie.
I'm like, I couldn't wait to tell you. I only told her this morning. So look out for that. But you're right, Sharon. There are no good movies coming out, and they don't got no imagination really, so they can't come up with good things. And about the other thing about we have to pull away from all that stuff and just listen to Creator and Mother if you're that way inclined. Yeah, and get your own knowledge because it's there. It's getting fed to us thick and fast right now, but everyone's looking at the screen instead of being outside, like Polly said, and picking it up because the sun is giving off energy, and we know that right now. But also in that is information, spiritual information in the light.
Yeah, and
and some would say genetic information too.
Right, and I think the other thing is it's easy to get sucked into something that makes you feel good when that's probably the reason it's there. So it's like everything's twisted. It's really hard to not get all sucked into all this stuff, right? And just stand back and watch it, and then just turn. Like at night, I turn it off. Literally, I don't watch a lot of it at night because I don't want to go to bed with that on my head, right? I'll read books or I'll do something else, but.
Yeah, same here. But lately, I've been too busy to even worry about finding something to watch on TV.
Too busy living. And I hope you're out there too busy living as well. Because that's what we should be doing, is living our lives and not worrying about all that and feeding into it. and creating our own little world without that in it. And I'm not being ignorant because it is there. You know, they're about to put a smart meter on my house. I'm not happy, but I've got a plan. I already got a plan figured out.
Can you tell them
Can you
no?
test it?
Yeah.
No, because I'm in government housing.
So what's your plan?
I don't want to say it in case they listen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Never mind. Just if you can later, just say it worked.
Yeah, I'll let
You know what you should do, Luna? You should take your phone out to the smart meter once they've installed it, and you should ask it a few questions. And if it can't get them right, then you've got proof that it's not smart.
You got a point there.
And say, look, you've given me the wrong meter. This one's clearly not smart.
Yeah, well, I've got some things up my sleeve. We'll see what happens.
They just can't get enough of monitoring us, can they?
I know.
They just cannot get enough of it.
You know what we should do? We should all just give them what they want. Everyone should turn up for a whole week, because there's plenty of us. Go to all the government departments and say, I want to tell you everything about me because you're about to, and I want to get in first. And everyone just stay there and tell them everything about you. It'll blow their minds. And, you know, we can be there for a whole week going, oh, by the way, I went here and I did this. And, you know, you tell them everything. Everybody just go for the next few weeks. Keep turning up in droves at every government place and tell them all about yourself. There's some people.
Sounds like Alice's restaurant.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
Give them
yeah.
what they want.
If one person does it, they'll think he's crazy.
Yes.
If two people do it, they'll think they're both
Alice on the
fake.
air in 1983?
If 3 people do it, they'll think it's a movement. And if 4 people do it, they think it's a cult.
Exactly.
Yeah. Give them what they want. That's right. You're going to shut them up. Overload their system.
There'll never be enough for them. Like,
No.
you can never shut them up. Whatever you give them, they're going to want 10 times more tomorrow.
What I can't get, though, honestly, we're just ordinary people, right? Our lives aren't that
Let's
interesting.
give them bees or hornets. Since they want 10 times more hornets tomorrow. Yeah, there you go.
Well,
Well,
I thought
that
they
interesting.
created that problem. Instead of having 10 times as many, they just introduced the murder wasp or the murder hornet. They just put all 10 of them in one.
Right. Remember that? I forgot
Exactly.
about the murder hornet. Oh, my God.
I bet you we got
Yeah,
something
the
that'll
TV guide from 1983 made quick work of the murder hornet. I rolled up that TV guide and I showed that murder hornet who's boss. They don't make TV guides like they used to in 1983 anymore. You could kill anything with those things.
No, they were like short and squat, and they like had little binding on them. And then by the 90s, they were like everybody who watched TV from the beginning had grown up, so they had to make them bigger to increase the font.
Right.
And then they just did away with it.
My mum used to buy them.
And they always had
then I was
good
bored.
crosswords too.
They did. They did. TV Guide had good crosswords. That's
They
where I
did.
learned how to do crossword puzzles at.
And they had good gossip. They had good pictures. They filled you in on stuff. It was kind of a fun thing to have. But that's when we all watched the same shows.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You fellows are different. We only had 3 main channels and one
Right.
called ABC, which is Channel 2.
Yeah.
Right? And, yeah, we only had them channels and they shut down at 12 o'clock. And you got the grey screen.
No, we had the
Yeah,
same,
they used to do that here too.
same thing
Yeah,
in the
I
US
think me
for a
and
long
Polly talked about this. I mean, it used to be, I remember, I'm old, but not old enough to remember cable TV. I remember before infomercials became a thing. There were 3 stations, NBC, CBS, and when the president came on to did his speech, you just didn't have nothing to watch
Right.
when you were a kid.
Right.
And then in the morning when it came on, there was the national anthem played at night when it ended. The broadcast ended. Then you got all those vertical stripes.
Yes.
That was before infomercials came on.
Right.
One of the pioneers for cable was MTV, and then Disney came along and saw the popularity with that, and then the Disney Channel. And the only other like premium subscribing service that I know of before MTV was HBO. HBO came around in the mid to late 70s. And that's where cable started. And then infomercials, and that's where all that money and all that wealth came in.
What about Viewer's Choice or First Choice? Did you guys have that? It was like a subscription, kind of like Netflix, but it was way back in the 80s.
No, I don't
remember. A certain scrambler. Yeah, I remember that because my dad ended up making his own descrambler, so we could just, because what they used to do, in order for you to pay to watch a certain channel, they would just scramble it. And so when you paid the subscription, they would give you like a physical box that you plug into your TV through the cable, and it would descramble certain channels. And my dad made one so we could just descramble any channel we wanted. But they had this movie network. It was like a we used to record movies like Indiana Jones. It's called I'm pretty sure it was called Viewer's Choice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. And that's where the whole thing, the following program contains scenes of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. That was from Viewer's Choice. And I think that came out in the 80s. I'm not sure if it was 83, but yeah, poor you.
Mind,
Yeah, it was really cool.
Video killed the radio star in my mind.
That was the first MTV video.
Yep,
that was the first music
video.
Yeah.
August the 1st, 1981. It was the Buggles that was on MTV. Video killed the radio star. And the second song had the first guitar ever played on MTV. And that was, I can't remember the name of the song, but it was Pat Benatar. That Neil Giraldo he was the first guitar played on MTV because Video Killed the Radio Star was mostly synth.
Was that
right.
Love is a Battlefield? I know that was one of hers.
Yeah, I think I want to say that was 85.
That one. I loved MTV in the beginning. Not when they got not when they did the, reality crap.
Yeah, MTV in the beginning was groundbreaking because it was originally designed to plug in you would plug your speakers were like floor length. You would plug in your speakers to your TV. So you actually had music. You had your TV coming through your stereo for music television.
Right.
And also, it basically introduced a new medium for artistic expression. So you had people that weren't musicians basically expressing themselves through other people's music in the form of a music video.
Yeah.
And that opened up a whole new avenue of different, video producers and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, at one point, you never released your new record without your video, even if it was, a low budget.
It's true. Yeah.
Put something out there.
You have to have a video, at least one.
And I always thought it was interesting, the show The Monkees, which was actually in the 60s, where they said that going back to that, they said that they felt like that was the beginning of MTV, right? Because they did music and they were crazy. Their whole show was their music.
Yeah.
And acting silly. And
there were a few, to my knowledge, there were a few musical artists that were recording video prior to MTV.
Mm-hmm.
I know Blondie was one of them because the video for Rapture. But pioneers of that, and they recorded videos and did a lot of stuff exclusively for their fans. That would be Devo. Devo had a huge following with their fans. They would do videos, release videos for their fans. That's why they had so many of them. So a lot of people were like, we got to catch up with Devo. These guys got it all. So Devo kind of was a trendsetter.
The Beatles had their couple of movies that they did, and they did music. And they had the Yellow Submarine. They had Hard Day's Night, right? I think they did something like that. Yeah.
Also, there was that show Top of the Pops, right? From the 60s, I think that was from Top of the Pops, where they just like showcasing a band or a few bands. I think
Countdown.
The Doors and bands like that were on there. What was that guy's name? What was that guy's name? That the talk show host? He used to have bands on all the time. What is his name? He was always drunk. And he was before Johnny Carson. What was that guy's name? Oh, that's gonna bug me now.
Are you talking about where
I
the
can't think of
teenagers
it.
come
So,
in
anyways,
and dance on the show Bandstand? You're not going. You're
no,
not. You're
no,
not
it
talking
wasn't
about that.
Bandstand, but
Are you thinking
it
like
was
Sullivan, Ed Sullivan?
maybe that was it. Yeah, Ed Sullivan. Yeah, because he would
Right.
always showcase a band on his shows too, right? So I
Jimmy
mean, I guess
Savile.
that's
Was
kind
it
of
Jimmy
like
Savile, or Top of the Pop 70s.
Solid gold from the 80s. And then
Yeah.
Soul Train.
Oh, I was gonna say Soul Train. Oh,
Oh, wait.
Junior heard Don Cornelius.
Well, Bandstand was on for a very long time.
Yeah, it was.
And he would review songs. He'd have a Saturday morning show, right, where he'd go through an hour or so of top pops or top 10, top 10 and the top of the charts. Or I think he'd do like 20. He'd have a 2-hour show and go through it. Amazing.
So,
it was Ed Sullivan. That
Okay.
guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we had a show called Countdown. I forget the
Yeah,
name of the
Countdown.
guy.
I think we had something like that too.
Yeah, name of the guy, I forget the name of the guy that did it in Australia. But way back then, we knew that him and his friends were into not good things, right?
Oh.
We knew back then, but it's taken all these years for it to come out. But here in Australia, local people, because you've got to remember AC/DC and all that practice local, they were from the western suburbs. Yeah, we knew what was going on back then. But yeah,
Interesting.
because the guy that ran Countdown, yeah, he was pretty dubious fella. Everyone knew what he liked without going into it,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was way back then. I can't remember his name. Anyway, yeah, because we had a different thing. Like we saw what you fellas had over there, but here in Australia we had our own a lot of homegrown stuff, as well as everything else all over the world. I remember before 1983, I don't know the year, but it would have been about 3 or 4 years earlier. I actually went overseas and realised that all you fellas used like months and months and months ahead of us as far as music and all the music videos and that went. And I came back here singing songs that hadn't even come here yet. So, and that's when I realised the difference.
Yeah.
We kind of narrowed the gap now because of alien intelligence, AI.
No, right. I mean, in fact, that was true with fashion. That was true with lots of things. Like fashion, the new fashion would happen in Paris first, right? Everything would get introduced on the runway in Paris and the UK and all over the Europe, and then it would flow over to the USA, right? And it would take a while for the runways in New York or USA or for us to get the new fashions. By then, Paris and UK was off doing other stuff. It's like, oh yeah, well that was last season. It's like, okay, well we're just wearing it now.
Yep.
As you can tell by our hats.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm going to step off for a second and grab some coffee, but I'll leave you guys with this thought of conversation since we're talking about apparel and accessories. And thank God
Talk amongst yourselves.
It has never come back, but I leave you with leg warmers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing I think of is the 20-minute workout. It's the 20-minute workout. 4 more, 3 more, 2 more.
There was a lot of leg warmers on MTV, and then what was that movie?
Flashdance.
Yes.
Can I do the run? How'd it go?
Well, you know what's funny about leg warmers is why don't you just wear fucking pants? That's what pants are. They're leg warmers.
Well, I mean, but it comes from dancers, and dancers have their own style. They dress.
Hey, if your legs are cold, you're not dancing fast enough.
Yeah, but it's not about cold legs.
Keep running.
It's about style. I mean, if you know dancers, they're in their own very artistic.
It's true. You know what? It makes me think that leg warmers are really just glorified sweat bands, but they're just for your legs, not your arms or your head. They're just sweat bands. It's to absorb all the leg sweat from dancing.
But they look cute. They look very trending. I don't know if that's true anymore, but it was.
You know,
Why didn't they call them leg muffs then?
Leg muffs. I don't
You
know.
know, when I wore a skirt, got the draft going up my skirt, I'd put leg warmers on.
Yeah?
Yeah, it worked really well. I've actually still got a pair of leg warmers.
I love this. This
Do
is
your legs
Casey
get cold?
reminding you to keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. I remember Casey Kasem saying that. I was like Casey Kasem.
So did I.
Yeah,
I always
really-
admired
I-
comedians who could do his
I had no
voice too.
beef
He has a
with
really
Casey
unique
Kasem.
voice.
Yeah, he did.
So I got coffee and I brought back my Cabbage Patch friend.
Oh my God, Cabbage Patch! Oi!
Wow, she hasn't aged a bit.
And
has
she's
not.
still wearing the same clothes that she came out of the box with, and you can tell she's old. Look at her bib; it's all nice.
Talk
and-
about low maintenance.
I can't remember her last name, but her name is Dodie. Dodie Meadow.
That's so sweet. Go to Dodie Patch.
Christmas 1983.
Really?
Really?
I was just gonna ask. 83?
Yep.
Hey, on this
My
list
sisters
of
all had Cabbage Patch
1983
Kids.
major news, it
They
says Cabbage
came with
Patch
birth
dolls
certificates.
Yeah, they did. Cabbage Patch dolls are sold in shops and become a success.
Yep. But the Cabbage Patch, this version of Cabbage Patch, the Xavier Roberts, he kind of stole that idea from somebody else and commercialized on it, and that's the tragedy with Cabbage Patch Kids, is that it wasn't really his idea. He stole it from somebody else.
I thought the tragedy was that they grew in fields and they were harvested.
They still
were
have
harvested as toys
you smell?
for kids. We just
that- she still
grew them in big
still
giant
kinda
fields.
smells a little bit like Cabbage Patch Kid. I better stop doing that. There's another person who sniffs a lot. I don't want to be associated with that camp.
It's probably
Don't
not
go-
an attractive thing to do right now.
Stop Bidening the Cabbage Patch Kids.
I'm sorry, Cabbage Patch Kid. I know you're inanimate and you can't talk back to me, but my apologies.
Is there anything about that guy that is even remotely sane or attractive? And the answer is no.
What's he doing in 1983, I wonder?
Wasn't he a congressperson?
I don't know. I'm going to look that up, though.
Okay.
I believe so. He's a career politician. He had like nearly 50 years experience before he became POTUS.
Right.
And it's finally paying off.
Yeah, right.
So another thing,
What a
I
mess
was
he's got.
young in '83. One of the biggest movies in my childhood from '83, Flashdance.
That's we were talking about the leg warmer.
Hey, we were just talking about that.
Leg warmers, and it had a good soundtrack.
Yep, exactly. That's what you did that on purpose, Jules.
You had Michael Sambello, Maniac.
Yeah. I just saw a movie with her.
Yeah, we
in
had
it
this whole
last night.
conversation about why they're not pants.
Yes. And I said because they were being cool. They're artists, so they're cool.
You know what they are? They're the opposite of shorts. They're like when you make shorts out of a pair of jeans, it's like, well, I don't want to throw these away, so I'll just make leg warmers.
Well, they're not made of the same
Like
material.
when you cut the legs
No,
off
they're
of your
not.
jeans to
They're-
make shorts.
They're stretchy, but they're very different. I mean, it's if you look at the ones that wear them, they usually have their high heels on, right? They have it's not everyone looks good in them.
No,
I mean, you have to be really thin.
and the people that I remember wearing those, they were mostly people wearing them over their jeans. They weren't exercising.
Oh,
they were just wearing
right.
them because they were a fashion statement. And fashion towards the end of the 80s had changed. You had leg warmers in the early 80s. And that was with the Vidal Sassoon jeans.
Didn't you have tights? Did we have tights
And
back then?
then by the end of the 80s, you had the Dago colors, the orange, the pink, the neon, and the hypercolor. So it started out very subtle, and then by the end, it was all bright and vibrant.
I loved the colors. Like if you think about Miami Vice, I just love the colors. It was all the primary colors.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I love the Reebok. You cannot get them right nowadays. They're not the same. Those high top Reebok tennis shoes, everybody had them.
Yep.
I got them in every color I could possibly get my hands on. I wore them out. I love those. I would still wear those if I could find them. And they fit the same, but they don't. They don't make them the same.
I had pumps, but it's not what you think. The pumps that I had were like there was this thing on the tongue of the shoe in the shape of a basketball, and you squeeze it and it pumped air into your shoes.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
Kind of like prehistoric Air Jordans.
Like a balloon inside your shoe.
Yeah,
basically.
I know. I remember that. Yes.
What a gimmick that was.
Oh my God. That's a trip back to the 83. Woo-hoo. Wow. I like the 80s. I think for me it was I hated the 70s clothes. I didn't like the 70s music. I hated 70s shows. I hated just about everything about the 70s. It had this look and feel and sound, and to me it was creepy. It was like this creepy 10 years of hell. And then we burst literally with rainbow colors, and we went crazy, and we had MTV, and we had, things like Miami Vice, and
we just learned how to make better cocaine.
Cocaine, and we had Florida and cocaine. It was almost like we were trying to bust out of something in the 60s and the 70s, and by the 80s we did it, and the music was so cool. To me, there was still some really amazing music in the 80s that came out.
Even though Taco in the 80s was a one-hit wonder, Putting on the Ritz,
yes,
was a song that's nearly 100 years old, charting.
I remember that. I remember originally from Hollywood, right? And you had people dancing on stage.
Mm-hmm.
That Busby Berkeley.
Yeah,
on the Ritz,
McDonald's
right?
ended up using that song, I think.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure McDonald's had it when they had that mascot that was other than Ronald McDonald. He was like, he had a crescent moon for a head.
Really?
Does anyone remember that guy?
Mac the Knife.
I can't remember what his name was, but he was a mascot for McDonald's when they tried to something like that. They used that song, Putting on the Ritz. They made their own version of it for that marketing campaign.
I can't help when I hear Putting on the Ritz. It always takes me back to Young Frankenstein. Putting on the Ritz.
Was that the 80s? Yep. Was Young Frankenstein the 80s?
I think so. I can't remember what year.
Yeah.
But I think it was from the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, as politics.
You know what else was invented? I found something pretty cool. What was invented in January 1st, 1983? Nobody, don't Google it. Come on, that's not fair.
The answer is I don't know.
The internet. The internet was born in 1983.
Right.
On January 1st, but it was called something else.
We didn't start really using it till later in the 80s and the 90s, right?
Yeah, I remember internet coming widely popular in the mid.
Well, the internet, according to what I have here, the internet started off as just a way for computers to talk to each other. Like if you needed to do work away from work, you could still call your computer at work. And it was called TCP/IP.
You could also talk to people that were like you. If you were scientists and you were working on scientific papers and things like that, in the early days of the internet, you could tap into all kinds of amazing information.
Yeah, who knew?
And I remember that
phone was so capable.
The first modems that I were exposed to, and I remember this and it was from the 80s because, I have various time markers in my life, and I know that this happened very early on, like pre some of my siblings being born, where my stepfather would take a rotary dial phone, okay, would take the handle off the phone, the receiver, and put it on something else. And that would instantly make his computer use the phone, basically. So that was the internet. And so, yeah, the computer made this weird noise like a fax machine, and it went through the phone.
Right.
And then, so while the phone was on I guess it was a primitive modem, the modem would transmit that signal to another person who had a phone on the other end on one of those things, and then into the computer, and it would transmit the data.
Right. And isn't that was
and likely
instructions to the computer using the phone tone, right?
Something like that. And it was likely at a ridiculously high speed of like 1 kilobyte per hour. Like it probably was really slow.
What was the name of that Broderick? What's his fave? Broderick's movie, where he actually
War Games.
Yes, he broke into the Pentagon, and didn't he use the phone? They used the phone to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's in that movie. Yeah, it totally is. That's the same thing.
And
that's a great movie, by the way. Like totally foreshadowing AI. What a great movie.
That was a very good. Thermonuclear war. Would you like to play a game of thermonuclear war?
Yeah, I remember that.
Which is what we're doing now. Now they're asking Biden, would you like to play a game with thermonuclear war? Oh yeah.
Which Biden are they asking? I think he has like 4 doubles now.
all of them can't walk. All of them can't. I mean,
they're acting. All of them except the real one are acting.
If they're acting, okay.
all of them except the real one. It's so you can't tell who the real one is.
You can't.
And back in 1983, all this was going on. We had no idea.
Right.
That was very good synchronicity.
Exactly.
There you go. Oh, 1983. Oh my God.
Yeah, we were looking at the TV, had no idea that what was going on in front of us was all BS.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I paid much attention anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah. Living in 1983.
In 1983, I was busy playing with my strawberry shortcake, dreaming of I want a Cabbage Patch Kid. And I was out playing. I was outside from sun up till sundown.
Do you know what else came out in 1983? The first Super Mario Brothers game was released in Japan in 1983. Yes. And so a lot of people stopped going outside.
Yep.
You could say 1983 is the year people stopped going outside.
Yeah. Probably.
They stayed inside and ate mushrooms that made them feel larger.
Or they called in Domino's and they had those mushrooms on their pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. And I knew nothing of mushrooms other than they were on pizza.
The Lisa computer, which I was working on, it was introduced on January 19th, 1983.
Wow.
And that turned in actually to the Sun computer. Let me see. And
so were there any space cosmic stuff? Were there any shuttle launches that happened in 83?
Interesting.
I don't know about that. I know the Challenger was 84 though, so there must have been at least 1 or 2 in 83. Just didn't make the news.
I miss the space.
Oh, you know what else happened in 1983 was the invention of the first camcorder. So that's not a portable video camera. That's something else. A camcorder is when they came up with a different format.
Because
little tiny cassette tapes.
Yeah, because I remember the like NV, their camera was huge. So the camera,
right, because they used film.
Yeah.
The Space Shuttle Challenger.
So this is like the replacement for film.
1983.
I looked up 1983 Australia. We had
Yeah, tell us what
83,
happened
really?
over
I thought it
there.
was 84.
Ash Wednesday, the 16th of February 1983. 100 fires swept across Victoria and South Australia, killed 75 people. Yeah, that was a really bad fire back then we had. We had political things going on, and the political person in Mention is one of the main characters of the bad people these days. And his name sounds like a bird. What else have we got? I'm looking now.
Hey, Luna, the fires you were just talking about, were they comparable to the ones you had a couple years ago?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. I wasn't paying attention in 1983. Actually, when you two all come up with this, I panicked. I'm like, oh, I got memory lapse. So it's like get that old box out of my mind and go through to blow the dust off. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Musically, we will dust that shelf off for you because
Okay. We've got some pictures here, and it says images for 1983 Australia. Diana, she came here, Princess Diana.
She showed up, or they got married.
There's a picture of her in Australia crying. Everything's still in black and white.
Wow.
By the way, we were late to get colour TV. Only the rich people got colour TV, and we all had to wait. Everything we had to wait for because of that time, that gap that we had back then.
Right.
So yous are talking up there, and I'm like, yeah, I remember them things, but we kind of got them a bit after you. Australia dollar floated. What I don't know. Princess Diana, yeah, came, and Charles came to Australia and did a tour.
Oh yeah, there she was crying.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what this is about. It said Australia 2 was built. Oh no, that's a 1983. We had a ship, Australia 2.
Yeah, they visited New Zealand too.
Yeah. We won America's Cup, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
She was 22 years old when she came to visit you guys in '83.
Oh, really? She was only a baby.
She was just a young lady. I loved her. Why did Diana cry at you? She claimed something awful had happened right before he left. I was in his study talking to him about his trip. The telephone rang. It was Camilla. I thought I'd be nice, so I left them to it. And then I broke my heart. Oh, I guess that's why she was crying at the airport. Whatever. I see Camilla, and I just think, oh, this should be Diana. That's all I ever think about. Right.
Oh, yeah. I've got a little thing. 1983. Significant Space Shuttle Challenger lands safely.
Right.
Ash Wednesday, what I just told you about. David Bowie singing on stage during his Serious Moonlight tour. That was in 1983. Yeah, the Mario Brothers and
Nerds candy. One of my favorite candies still to this day was.
Sorry.
Oh, you went there.
What candy?
I went there.
Revenge of the Nerds, 1983.
Nerds. Oh, that was a good movie too.
Yep.
Those movies were awesome.
And the day after came out as well. See, look at that logo.
Do you think that's where Eddie Murphy got his laugh from? That movie? Like, when was Eddie Murphy Raw? Or like, when did he do? Because I feel like he may have stole that laugh from the Nerds movie. Now.
And that laugh that I did, that was a poor laugh. Before the show is over, before this stream is over with, I will do a much better nerd laugh. I just have to build up to it.
That's gonna be good.
We had a big dust storm too, apparently, in Melbourne. It was one of the biggest dust storms we've had for a while. That happened in 1983. I didn't know that either. Like I said, I don't know. I was in the bubble.
Number one TV show, Dallas. In USA.
Actually, when you look at it, not much happened.
I wasn't into Dallas. I mean, it was different strokes and the fact of life. And I would occasionally watch Dukes of Hazzard, Magnum PI.
Right. Magnum PI was on. Simon and Simon, the A Team. I used to like
And
that.
the A-Team.
Chips.
The Love Boat. I love the
Mhm.
Love Boat.
Quit your jibber jabber. I pity the fool.
I pity the fool. Knight Rider.
Yo,
Madonna.
sucker.
You
I
looking-
remember I used to
can't
feel so
find
tough
this
when I
many
ate his
nice
cereal.
shows. What?
The
I'm
biggest
sorry.
thing that happened here was Princess Diana coming. We're boring. Not much happens here.
Wow.
It's a boring.
Interesting.
Anyways, 1983. Yeah, I was doing martial arts. Like I said, I started doing martial arts. And I train nearly every day because when I do stuff, I get right into it. And I was young, so I had lots of energy and I was fit as a fiddle. Man, that was the fittest I ever been in my whole life. And the music in them days was the music that I trained to. So if I heard that music, my body automatically wants to respond. But yeah, that's what I did mostly for a couple of years. I just focused. That's why it was a blur, because I really didn't do much.
Luna, you brought up music. I was working on my project, and every Friday night on Sirius XM, and I'm not promoting, sponsoring, or anything. It's just something that from now and then I will listen to. Every Friday night they do a countdown, and they'll pick a random year, but it's always like this particular weekend in 1982, 1987, 1981. Last week was 1983. So
Oh, right.
I was doing my work, and I was sitting here and I was listening, and it's like, and there are a lot of, I mean, again, going for me, the early part of the 80s, it's like an episode of Solid Gold, the way they would introduce everybody. I mean, you'll have like, join us this week, our musical guests are Waylon Jennings and AC/DC and Ozzy Osbourne. All these random eclectic that don't sound like they would be charting then, but they actually did. We Putting on the Ritz was one of them on the countdown. But how many people remember ELO being on the countdown in the 80s?
Oh, yeah, I used to like them, the Electric Light Orchestra.
Rock and Roll is King. ELO was on the countdown.
We still
And
had
another group that Kajagoogoo, who had their hit Too Shy, they were kind of almost labeled as a one-hit wonder because of their name. Their name was too long, and unfortunately for them, when they shortened their name down to just Kaja, they had no success. But the lead singer went on to have success and popularity because Lamal did the theme song for Neverending Story.
Which is an awesome song.
It's an awesome song.
Yeah.
You know what?
Did that come out in 83?
Is that I don't
Neverending
know.
Story, I think, is 84 or 85.
I was wondering, their Stranger Things is going to come up with their last episode, and they've really knocked it out of the park with the music they've chosen. And I'm thinking, I wonder if they can do it 3 times. Like what they picked this song because the last one was Kate Bush, right? Running Up the
Yeah.
Hill.
And that she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now, and largely in part because of the resurgence, and people finally realized that, wow, and she deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I
It was
agree
a great
100%.
song. Yeah, it was a really great song.
I think she was actually discovered by David Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Nice.
Just a little random piece of trivia. And it's not 100% certain. It's almost certain, but Google it if you want, or not.
AI could be sometimes AI is your friend, and sometimes it's not.
Oh, I can't wait to use AI for like something like painting, because I'm not very good at painting. But I'm probably going to be okay at describing what I want to paint, and so once I learn how to use AI for that, it'll be like invaluable.
When you find that software for that, let me know, because I'm working.
It's already out.
And, I'm trying to find the right one.
Have they got an AI program?
So far, all the ones I've seen, you've got to wait like literally days for your render to come back to you. You can only get a certain amount of them, and they're like, unless you pay for them, unfortunately, right now. they're not really worth using, in my opinion.
I'll still be checking into it because I have visions, and I know AI can help.
Exactly. So, like, I mean, AI can be used as something really cool creatively, I think. No one's talking about the creative potential of AI. Like, someone who can't play guitar but can hear guitar music in their head, they would be able to just, like, basically hum it. There's technology now where you can hum things to a microphone, and it will record it as a guitar or a violin or a bass or whatever, even drums. So
What
AI is
about
using, like, that's
If you're
AI.
job searching, you can use ChatGPT for all your cover letters. And they come out great.
Yeah.
So for writing those marketing blurbs, as long as you go in and update it and put your piece in there, it's seconds. It's written it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Holly,
So, I
what
mean, it does
about
have its uses.
if you put a song in and you can't really sing, so you sing in your own voice, and then it tweaks it up and you can pick a voice for it to sing in?
Exactly. And if it doesn't sound right, you can just say, "Oh, can you make it sound a little bit more like this?" And it will.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's, you know what, I thought about it all, and I thought it's all fun and nice and happy, but the ultimate thing is that we will no longer be needed, and it will be creating everything from our creativity that we
Yeah, but
put
then
in.
who will be there to enjoy it? AI won't ever be able to enjoy art. It will only be able to create it. It
I don't
needs
think
art needs humans to appreciate it.
But
AI will
what
never
if what
appreciate
if
the
it's
art it
sentient?
generates.
What if it's sentient?
I don't
If it's
think it can
sentient,
be.
will it have feelings?
Everyone says it
I don't
can't
think
be.
AI can be. I
Because
don't
it
think it can
doesn't
be.
have a soul.
There's a difference between intelligence and sentience. Like, intelligence you can have without conscience or soul or anything. You can be intelligent and not have any of those things. But you cannot have a spirit, a soul, or sentience without intelligence.
Yeah. Did
But you
anyone
can.
see that YouTube of the lady that was screaming about the person in the back of the plane, and she said, "I'm out of here." I wondered what that was she was pointing to, because I've run into two individuals who had no soul. The darkness was so intense, and I wondered what would I do if I was on a plane and I had to sit by one of those things. I'd be out of there too. That was
I know of at least three different circumstances where people have said they have seen things and have claimed to see them shapeshift. And then that's the part that's tying into the reptilians and conversation now, because it's in news. News is picking it up that these people are claiming they're seeing reptilians.
People are honoring her decision. And so the reason I bring it up is because I think this links into what you were saying about, can AI have a soul? Does AI have a soul? I just don't think it does. It may know
program
it's
a soul
on something, it's like, oh, I'm a robot, but do you have a soul? Do you?
You could probably have an algorithm that would mimic a soul, and it would be very believable, but it wouldn't be an actual physical soul.
It's a deep thought, but what if the whole push, the agenda for transhumanism is for the AI to hijack the body with the soul?
Or the aliens from their other dimensions to hijack the bodies. Because these two beings that I saw, they were inhabited by something really dark.
It happened in an Asian flight again, Sharon. An Asian guy went off his head and said the flight crew, weren't human. Yeah, and someone translated it. They went and found out what he actually said, and that's what it was. Basically, they're not human. And he was screaming, yeah.
And how many do we have now? That one in 1 year, I ran into two of them, right? And one of them, I prayed for her. I thought she was just so depressed. She was like a teenager body. She had a teenager body. She was 16, 17 years old. The most depressed, dark, pathetic human walked by me, and I thought, I'm just going to pray for her. I turned around and she started coming after me. Like, you will not pray for me. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, I got the message. Do not pray for me. I stopped praying and she turned around and kept going. So I don't want to sit by that. And so when that lady said that on the plane, I'm like, you go, girl. If you sat by those two people I ran into, I'd be off the plane too.
I've yet to run into that kind of thing in a body.
So my question is, when we're talking about all of this alien crap, is that what we're talking about? Or is that just, one of the kinds, or is that something completely different? Right? I don't know.
It's likely something completely different because they never tell us.
No.
There's
They're never
probably a
gonna
half truth in there somewhere.
Oh, half truths. I mean, I wouldn't.
It's probably a man-made creation.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you.
Or maybe it's a reverse engineered man-made creation from some other kind of technology. I wouldn't rule that out either.
Right.
Alien
Or it could be a
intelligence.
demon outright. It could be just freaking demons because they're real too. So
Well,
could
they
be
don't
just
want you
freaking
praying for
demons.
them, that's for sure.
Why they
I
would
don't
need to take a
recommend
plane, I don't know. Well, if I was
I
sitting
would
on a
love
plane
it.
next to a demon,
What
I'd be like,
about-
hey, aren't you a demon? Like, do you really need to take a flight? Can't you just like teleport or something? Aren't you like why wouldn't you be flying the plane if you're a demon? Why are you in coach class? What are you doing down here in steerage?
the two beings that I ran into, one was walking and one was in a car, and they were driving, and you could tell it was one of them. Like, it was like, oh my God, that's another one of these things. And they sensed me right away and turned around and looked at me like, want to play? No. No.
They're probably like, great light.
So they, I mean, my point is they were in a car, so they're not flying somewhere, like, right, or transporting, or
That's another. Why would they need a car?
I don't know. I don't even know what they are.
I
I
don't
know
know.
they exist. I've run into
I
one.
don't
They're
know.
probably synthetic
If they need
robots,
cars, if they
kind of.
need to take flights, they're just not as scary to me. That's all I'm saying to any demons
I've got a
listening out
feeling
there. If you
I
need to
thought
drive
they
a car
were
or take a
robotic.
flight, then I thought you had more power than that. That's all I'm
I
saying.
I wouldn't mess with these guys. Seriously, these are the two of the scariest, darkest, meanest. Oh, you okay? Go, you go. I'd be the woman. If you people want to stay on this plane, you go right ahead, and I'd be screaming, "I'm out of here." So
I'd be trying to get
a
few
lot
questions
of
answered.
I just saw a lot of different people comment on the event, and they were actually on her side. They didn't.
Hey, maybe
make,
the
like,
demon can get you more drinks on the plane than what's normally allotted
God,
to one
you are
passenger. I
so
don't know.
playing with fire, dude. Playing with fire. You obviously have not run into one of these yet.
I think one ran into me by accident, but I said, "Excuse me."
Okay.
No
Yeah,
harm,
they
no
probably
foul.
don't like. They probably don't like people who are polite and have manners.
Yes.
No, they just don't want to be around the light. They don't want to be around the light. They don't want any light.
So
That's
stay
why
bright.
just existing would irritate the shit out of them. Just sitting there being your happy self, piss right off, you wouldn't have to do anything. That's why I wouldn't run away from them, because I'd stand there and smile and go, I know just by being here, you can't stand it, and laugh and go, ha ha, because then I've got the power now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do. I'd have to wait. Like, what depends on the situation, who I'm with, where I am, what mood I'm in,
Right.
whether I have my second cup of tea in the morning, or that kind of thing.
I think my point here, and that's not the only experience I've had, and I've shared the other one I had on Kev's show a number of times. Whenever we have this UAP thing or a UFO thingy or whatever, I think there are so many variations, in my opinion, of probably what's going on. And so many people have had different experiences because I think their higher self wants them to, that we're not getting the real truth. And it's really sad because it would be really nice that what if there's as what's her face used to say, are they service to self or service to humanity? And it would be really nice to meet some of these good ones, the ones that are benevolent, right? They're supposedly here. It would be
I
nice to
think
be
they
able
used to call those angels.
Well, I would be willing to ask lots of questions of them, like, who are you? And it's not like they would be angels necessarily, but that to me would be like a little safer to ask questions. So who are you? How did you get here? Do you how old are we? Which, we know they're not telling us the truth without that.
Well, he's going to say, I got here because Aleister Crowley left the portal open.
Exactly. And is there a good way to get off this planet and not have to come back?
Is leaving the portal open like leaving the toilet seat up?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's a toilet that needs to be cleaned a long time ago.
Yeah. You get in trouble. You get in trouble when you do stuff. You know how it goes. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a juvenile. I'm sorry I took us there.
That's okay.
Hey, I want to tell you something. This is kind of different. I'm reading the chat here.
Yeah.
Now, think. All right, hang on. I'll just set this up. So the scenario is to get into heaven, right? Whatever that is, whether it's another planet, another place, whatever you want it to be. All right. Now, to get in there, you say something marker inside you that you belong to Creator, right?
Yeah.
So that would be like DNA or your genes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you took something that changed that coding, when you walk through that door and the computer scanned your DNA or whatever,
yeah,
you lost the key and you can't get in anymore because it's not in you anymore. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, that's why we can't go back, right? Because we've been altered. And so whatever our DNA was, maybe that linked to that place.
Yeah. You know how you got security code and the security code would scan your DNA?
And they altered our code.
Get in. Yeah, if it's been changed, you can't get in there now because it's not in your body. The key's not in your body anymore.
Well, that's, they've been having lots of conversations about that because of we've been altered, right? And they're going to own it. Like the creatures that run this place. It's like, well, we invented this and now this whole thing is ours. And, we patented, whatever, how we use the word. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
My question is why would somebody want to stop people from getting into heaven? Like, what's the advantage to that? Whatever it is that's trying to stop people.
That's a great question.
Keep them here.
Like,
keep them coming
how
back.
Does that help anything?
The only thing I can think of is because of our energy and because of our connection to Creator, because we are batteries to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So they're harvesting, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We run.
Okay, I can accept that as a possibility. Harvesting. Yeah. Okay, maybe.
Yes. Yes.
But okay, then let's say you're in heaven and you're like, hey, wait a second. There's like tons of people getting turned away at the door, and I know they're supposed to be in here. You don't think heaven would like send somebody down or do something about it to be like, hey, wait a minute, someone's fucking changing all the keys.
They probably got
what's going on down here.
That's another good question. I've asked God that a number of times. Are you helping us? Do you give a rat's butt about us? Do you not?
Oh, I think that's below his pay grade. I think he has people that do that for him.
No, but I mean, those of us who are thinking about this kind of stuff, it's like, why did you let this happen? And I realize we're responsible for a lot of this, maybe that happened, I guess. But why are you? That would be a big question for me. Why are you allowing this to happen? You know, why? Is that the question you're presenting? Because I'm kind of with you on that. Other than to
well,
grow.
kind of, but now that I'm listening to that question as well, it almost sounds like it's been set up to purposely like gaslight yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I agree.
like what do? It's all our fault. We must have made the wrong choices or something, right? Or we
Right.
must have upset
Yeah.
somebody or what? Yeah.
I know.
I don't know where to go from there, but I mean, that it just like if it does like mess with your DNA and literally change it, there's also one other important thing you need to realize about how DNA is changed, and the sun can do it. The sun has done it in the past, and it will do it again. And we're not talking about like thousands of years of evolution here. We're talking about like maybe hundreds at the most. The sun can change our DNA if the Earth's magnetic field isn't as strong as it should be. It's going to affect our DNA.
Well,
They can replicate that in a lab.
I had always heard that our DNA would pop back to the original, but not if they messed with it, I guess. You know what I mean? Like the whole point of our DNA is that it has a set point where we started, and supposedly it's supposed to go back. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
All I know is when the Earth changed and we lost all the big trees and that atmosphere that we had back then fell down because all the trees left, and we got a new atmosphere, which is the one we live in. Those generations that lived through that, they slowly started to change for the new atmosphere. Right. So it was just natural each generation that babies were born. Yeah. Change to breathe the less liquid air, you know what I mean? Because it's heavily liquefied. Started raining, like everything was different. Trees grew to a different size. Everything changed. Women had babies in different time. And we changed over time to accommodate. But I had a feeling there's two, because there's a spiritual realm where you have a spiritual signature, and then there's the physical here, right, which like Polly said, the sun will give you information which will make you grow and blossom and change things inside you. Yeah, I think there's two levels, and I think they know how to access that second level, and they're trying to interfere with that second level because they've interfered with the physical level for a long time, trying to access that essence. And like, what makes these people work? How can we fuck them up? They haven't been able to figure it out.
Keep them on a low. Keep them on a low vibration.
Right.
Yeah. So you've been trying for a long time. So all their work's come to this, but we're growing naturally at the same time. So they'll never be able to keep up with us. They'll get to here, and we're already to here. You know, because the sun's giving out that information right now, and we're all growing rapidly. For those that are paying attention. Yeah, so I can see that. So I think there's two kinds of DNA. There's like a spiritual signature DNA, and then you've got your physical DNA. And I don't think your spiritual signature one actually changes because it goes around that time. You know, we come back.
Yeah.
And we live forever.
Yeah.
So all I know is that the world's getting smart, and there's individuals in the world that are cottoning on to this, and once they figure out what's going on, that dissipates the game. And the more and more of us, the more that energy will rise up.
Right.
So artificial intelligence or alien intelligence, can let it out. They could throw itself against a brick wall. I went to a restaurant where there was one of them robotic servers.
Oh, tell me about it.
I freaked out.
Because I was just coincidentally, I was literally set here to get ready for tonight, and one of the news articles that popped up on the main screen was November 2022. There was one McDonald's that's completely automated, and I didn't look into it. I knew of it.
Right. Hey, you probably get your food in a reasonable amount of time.
That they were going to give like an update on it, because we're almost coming up a year on that. I mean, how much money did that save? Is it beneficial to people like it?
It's probably the most efficient McDonald's on the planet.
Probably.
Yeah.
We kind of got them. You don't go up the counter.
Crime comes there. Just lock the doors. No service.
Oh no, I just know I walked into one of them automated shops. Me and my friend, we walked in, looked around, and went, "Oh, we just wanted a drink because we're travelling." And I actually walked up to the lady that was in there working, and I said, "Can we purchase this in a normal manner?" And she said, "Yeah." So the option was there, but everything was automated. Our McDonald's, you don't. Most McDonald's here now, you don't go to the counter. You order it on a board, and
Right.
then someone yells out your number, and your food's ready. You don't actually even, you know. But what I
Hey,
heard
you know
about,
those like robotic waiters or
yeah,
servers, whatever you want to call them?
yeah,
They don't get offended if you don't tip them. So
yeah.
No.
Well, I went to a restaurant with the fam a couple of weeks ago. I had no idea this thing was running around until I saw one of the workers. He was collecting plates and he was putting them on the robotic thing, and the robotic thing was taking them out the back. And it never clicked to me. And I walked there and I saw this thing, and he talks. I can't remember what he was saying, but it's got a voice. And it had its back to me. And I stood there and realised what it was, and I just went, "Oh," and I just stood there, and it just stayed there. It was like it knew I was standing there looking at it, right? But it had its back to me. But maybe it didn't because it can see all around. I don't know. Anyway, it's standing there, and then I realised what was happening, and I went, "Oh," and I kept going, and then it kept going. So I don't know what happened there, but that was my first encounter with one of these robotic things. But I stood there looking at it, it just froze. And then when I walked away, it kept going in the direction it was going. So we'll see what happens. I'll have to go back to that restaurant.
It was probably saying, "Johnny Five alive, need more input."
Why is it the same woman staring at me?
Five alive. I'm five alive. I'm alive. I'm number. Yeah.
Johnny Five alive, need more input. Short circuit.
Have you ever watched any of these videos from Tokyo, Japan, where all of a lot of the places they go get food is completely automated? It's fascinating, and you can get a full meal. Right? You just put your money in.
There was.
Oh, and you can watch the machine prepare your meal through the window kind of thing. Yeah, I've seen those. Those are cool.
When
I wouldn't eat the food. I would just pay to see it work. I don't need to eat the food. Just pay to see it.
But the food looks pretty good. It doesn't look bad.
When X-Files did their reboot, there was an episode where it was all automated.
Right.
And then the drones kept hovering in them and harassing them, all because they didn't leave a tip.
Right. And they had to do something to have that stop.
They had to
Where are the drones taking these tips?
Yes. Speaking of that, do you remember
What's going on there?
the guy that does
Where are they taking this money?
Stewie, and he had his own Star Trek spinoff? What's his face? The producer, I can't remember his name, but he did an episode where people did their score, like in China, where you have to do that score. If they don't like you, they kick you out. And I can't. Anyway, the episode was amazing, and it reminded me of what Nigel Farage is going through, where the bank said, "We're not helping you." And here's a guy worth lots of money, and the English bank said, because he was the one that did Brexit, so they were punishing him, right? With this, is it CSG or whatever their score is? And in this Star Trek episode, the crew member was going to be murdered. He was going to be executed because he hurt somebody's feelings on social media, and he had to save his life by pleading and acting like he gave a shit on social media. And then they got instant score for him to be not dead. The thumb was thumbs up. We're there. Is CSG, ESG, whatever? Anyway, and so Nigel Farage is fighting this with his bank because he made them mad because of Brexit.
Yeah, I mean, the whole ESRG, social credit, CBDC.
I know.
Okay, I mean, what about
stuff on the horizon?
Yeah.
What about if you're awake, right? Like you're aware of all the powers that are and shouldn't be and all this stuff, and you know this is coming, Well, what if you don't do anything wrong and you haven't done anything wrong, then it should be easy to just kind of deal with it. Like, I'm not saying like that it's right or anything, but like it probably won't affect people that don't have ill intention. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, criminals aren't going to be able to do their stuff anymore, and they're going to hate this. And like, there's a whole bunch of people that it's really just not going to affect. Because if you think about it, every single transaction that you make right now, whether they're telling you this or not, is trackable. If the FBI or the government wants to find out what you bought on last Thursday at 4:40 in the evening or whatever, they can do that. They can totally do that. They just have to subpoena the bank, and you know what? Anybody with a cell phone can do that too. So it's already here. I mean, this whole CBDC thing, most people don't carry cash anyways.
I mean, I hear you, but the alarming thing with the whole CBD it's got to do with you having money 1 minute and then you do something bad, you're cut off.
So don't do something bad.
Yeah, but that's not possible. I mean, what
okay,
about
the only time that's ever happened in my country is when there was a huge march onto the Capitol with the truckers' protest. That's the only time anyone's bank account's ever been compromised.
Dude, that was a test.
And that was just PayPal.
Well, it was a test. I mean, what if AI decides that this show is not okay with them?
And
we're talking bad.
How is taking away our money going to do anything about that?
Because
it's cheaper just to take the show down.
Yeah, but look what happened to the protest when that stupid prime minister of yours did that. It shut down the trucking thing.
I get that, but there's a lot of people out there that aren't that important as those people, and they won't stand up and protest, and this kind of move won't probably affect their lives at all. I mean, it won't make any difference to them at all, and they won't. You know what? Track my purchases. I don't care. You're the one selling them to me anyways.
But Polly, how do you get your PPP if you haven't got cash?
But why would they take my cash away unless I was doing something wrong?
Yeah, but but it's not up to you to decide if you did wrong. It's up to them. They'll decide.
Yeah, if you're going against the program,
there's laws.
No, there's no law. The laws don't work anymore. Look at Nigel Farage. There's laws. There's no laws. Look at what's happening to Trump. What laws? Look what's happening to Biden's kid. He's not getting in trouble ever. I mean, it's the thing that's scary about this, and we've already seen it in the Nazi fascist BS, is if they decide to clear the chessboard, you didn't have to do anything wrong. They can decide that a bunch of people like us who don't want to play the game are out of the game. That's what's scary about this. It's all arbitrary.
They need us to pay taxes. In order for us to pay taxes, we need to have money.
They can afford to get rid of a bunch of us. We're a pain in their ass. It's like, nah, let's get rid of these guys.
I don't really view myself as a pain in the ass to anyone. I mean, anybody that's in power isn't going to really notice little old me.
Yes, it is. Yes, they are.
I don't think so.
That's my point. Okay, wait. Step back for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Here's my point. Your energy, your beingness, your connection to higher power is very powerful. That's what they don't like. Right? If you look at Fox News, they kicked off what's his face because he was starting to use the God word. They're not going to put up with the God word. They were donating to Satan. So my point is, you are one of the people who are connected to your higher self. That's a powerful thing. And you're awake, and you're aware, and you're making aware conscious decisions. You are impacting their game. We are impacting them, even in ways we probably don't know. And that's what's dangerous to them. You don't have to do anything other than be you. You're an individual. That's so powerful.
Yeah, I will agree with that. And you know what? Thank you for all those things that you said just now, because that was like probably one of the most flattering things anyone's ever said to me.
It's the
Um,
truth, though.
well, I'm not going to argue because I'm modest.
Okay. All right. But you know it's true, and that's how.
But I'm not worried about anyone being able to take that away from me, even
Right.
if they switch off my money. Like, it's go ahead, switch off my money. Then I won't be able to pay taxes.
Switch off my money is, oh my God, how am I going to get cat food and cat litter?
No,
What's all
my
that
cat is
problem?
going to get me the food.
Exactly.
At that
That's
point,
what we get it.
that's
Yeah.
when I train my cat to
Well,
get me food.
There you go. There's the
Buy
drill.
yourself one of these. You can unbolt
Look,
anything.
Zoe, get me some food or you are the food. That's what happens. The
But I
government
mean,
took my
so
money.
when people say I'm not doing anything wrong, that's not the point. That no one's doing anything wrong. Farage wasn't doing anything wrong. Neither were the truckers.
Let me ask you this:
point of view.
What if they said that if you broke any of the 10 commandments, that you get your money taken away? What if that was the only rule?
Thou shalt not steal. How many people just randomly pick up a pen?
Oh, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a double standard here. What I'm saying is, if that was the only rule, would it be okay for you to have a digital currency?
No.
No. Oh, you got that now. Going back
Yeah,
to
I did.
what we're talking about a little bit about those dark energies not even liking us be around. Okay, those dark energies, if they take control, they don't even like us being around. You don't have to do anything wrong. You're just being there, and that's enough. They'll try and remove you somehow.
Right. We because I've asked God sometimes. I say, well, why is it up to me? My whiny days. Why is it up to me to fight? Why do I care? And then I'm thinking, think about and I'm saying to myself, think about what you just said. Do you want to live under that darkness? Do you want to not have a choice to get off that plane? What about that woman? She actually still had a choice to get off that plane. What if we're forced to sit there next to that, whatever that darkness is?
Eat them.
But you get my drift. I mean,
yeah,
we should have those choices.
But Sharon, Creator wouldn't give us the light that we have if it was useless.
Right.
We irritate them. Like they will go back to that. We irritate them so much just existing, they crumble. So
right.
we hold the power.
Right.
We just got to shine in that moment and not be afraid like they want us to be, and just go,
exactly.
Hey, do you want me to turn up the shiniest or I'll blind you? They'll run away.
Right.
And if we're stuck in a room with them, I know Creator can instow upon an individual at a certain moment things
right.
you'd never imagine. And I know that Creator would look after us. If you were stuck in a room full of them and you were connected to Creator would instow something upon you and amazing miracle things would happen. I know that.
I think you may not even end up in the room. Creator would help you just avoid the whole thing. Like, don't go in there. You would get this, don't go in there.
A lower, like someone that doesn't shine as much or is not on such a higher vibration.
Yeah.
Perhaps they'd get caught in there, but that would teach them the miracle of Creator when the light come into them and show.
I agree. But I think we're just we're saying is
that scenario.
I'm
sorry,
I
might be delayed a little bit.
I think all I'm just saying is they don't need to have more power, right? And it doesn't matter that you do or don't do anything. The thing is, it's arbitrary. If you look at the Trump situation, which I think is, I'm not sure if it's real, but supposed Trump situation and supposed the kid situation, they're setting up two systems. Mm-hmm. One for the popular people, it's like, okay, well, we can do no wrong. And then for the people it looks like who are fighting for justice or whatever. But we don't want to have two justice systems, right? We want to have fairness. So I don't know. That's my thinking.
It still can go anyway because it's all up to us individually, but we're fighting hard. People are actually standing up and shining. So
Yeah.
we've already won. You got to remember, at the end of the story's already been told that we win at the end. It's all going to be good. We just got to do the motion and not get caught up in the motion.
Yeah.
Remembering all this is hard because you've got to float. You've got to like float up here so you can remember. Hang on a minute, don't get caught up in that.
Right.
It's going to be okay just to keep shining and doing your thing.
So coming back to your statement, can we stay out of this? You're right, we can. If you know to float above it, I think you're right. You can stay away from this experience.
It'll be around. I met is it NPC player? You know how they say
That's kind of what I was saying. Is
Okay,
there's going to be a majority of people that just stay in that floaty area because they don't have anything really to worry about, either A, because they're not thinking about it, or B, they're not aware of it, or C, they really just don't have anything of interest to the powers that be at all. And so to them, they're just a useful idiot.
I see what you're saying. Okay, stated that way, that makes sense.
I've got to go and do a bit of construction. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay.
I've just got to lift some timber.
But I don't want them to have the power anyway. It's just me. It's like I don't want to see them grab that much power. But maybe that's what it's going to take for this to break. In other words,
if you look at all the power grabs that have happened in history of humanity, none of them have worked.
Exactly. So maybe this has to happen.
So there's that to be, well, there's that to be hopeful. I mean, like, someone's going to figure out a way around this, and we'll just hook up with those people. Like, someone's going to figure out a way around this. There's going to be like a black market currency or something, like, or underground barter system, or something is going to happen.
I agree with you. I think that will happen. And I do think that one of the blessings we have is the people that are in control are clowns.
Yeah.
Not a dramatization. Not a dramatization.
It's ironic that they don't have a sense of humor, though.
They don't.
Because clowns usually do.
Well, actually, a lot of clowns are angry. I think clowns is kind of a perfect word for them. I'm not a fan of clowns. I don't like clowns. So this is not I'm not actually complimenting them. But so I think you have a good point. I think you have a very good point. Stated the way you stated it, I think, yes, it can.
Yeah, the way I think about it is like if you took all of like the different awokenesses of people and chucked them in a jar of water and shook them all up, they would all separate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Into different levels of awareness. And there's going to be a lot of people that just are okay with, they're just going to think, well, it's really no different than what I'm doing now because I use my phone to pay for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even need people are going to be like, I don't even need a microchip to make transactions. My phone does it. Why do I need a microchip? My smartwatch does it.
Yeah.
No one's going to want the microchip. I think that's fear mongering. I don't think that's actually going to happen because it's cheaper and probably more likely that people already have a cell phone.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're going to put these things into their babies, which that's where I would draw the line. You're not putting anything into a baby. Come on.
Right.
So what's your opinion on Musk and his X app? He's trying, from what I gather, he's trying to model that after the WeChat app that's popular over in China, but that's the app where you'll buy, sell, do everything through an app.
Yes. I would like to avoid his crap 100%. I'm not a big fan of the Musketeer, and I've never really trusted him.
The Musketeer. I love
there was always something suspicious in the back of my mind about Elon Musk and the whole how did Von Braun, how did he know that Elon was gonna help colonize Mars way back decades ago?
Yeah.
Wait, I never heard that.
Yeah, Von Braun in his book, Elon is the one who's associated with Mars. Way back when Von Braun wrote a series of books, space books about Mars, and Elon is the character in his book.
Wow.
Okay, so this is actually evidence to support my theory that Elon himself is actually not an actual 100% human. He's a synthetic biological, reverse engineered from the Greys, except he knows it. Bill Gates is another example, but he doesn't know it. And Mark Zuckerberg is another example, and he knows it as well. Some of them are aware, and some of them aren't aware. And this is just a theory, okay? And it's way out there. I get it. So don't think I'm crazy or nothing. Because I'll never meet these people anyways. But like when you watch them, at least for me, when I watch them, they don't have mannerisms like humans. Their mannerisms are different. You can see something's going on inside behind their eyes that doesn't go on in normal people. It's almost like they have to think, okay, how can I make this sound human? It's like you can see the programming running this. They're running through the script almost, like in their. And by script, I mean programming language.
Yeah, the whole
There is synergy between machine and biology. Literally, they have living. They're Terminators. I mean, they're not going to turn around and kill anybody, but I mean, they're literally biological flesh living on machines.
And a little bit of that this week, but tying it into what you were saying, the whole Aleister Crowley, the guy that he summoned, Lamb. I mean, he looks like a Grey, and then you have the Greys, and then you have these people. It's like the evolution or the de-evolution of something that's not that's not natural. It's and then Elon trying the Neuralink DNA. There's a whole can of stuff on him that just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I still like him though. He's an entertaining figure to watch at least.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely he's entertaining to watch and follow, but I just don't think he's 100% good guy.
I'm also just saying that so the algorithm doesn't single me out and take away my money. I love Elon Musk is awesome. I love him. He's amazing.
Well, they say
don't take my money.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy, and I go tell that to the poor people.
Well, that's another robot. That guy. Oh my God. What's his name?
Remember that movie? What's it called? Interesting People. People of Interest. Remember that movie?
People of what?
People of Interest.
Yeah, Person of Interest.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Remember there was two AIs and one was good and one was bad?
Yes.
I've got a feeling something like that might be going on.
Even more than two, and definitely vying for power. I agree with you. I think it definitely feels like there's a whole lot of stuff going on. Yep.
As I say, you switch it off, pull the plug out, and there is no AI.
That's what I'm saying. It's nothing to be afraid of. Just turn it off.
Yeah.
Switch it off, man. It's
like every single AI that's out there has a programmer behind it that puts in the parameters. The more parameters it has, the quicker it can learn things. But if you're a programmer, you're not stupid enough to make it be like get out of control and take over the world. Like that's just no. I don't think there's any computer programmer in the world that is that dumb, because they can program computers. These are smart people. I don't think they will make something that they don't have control over, because computer programmers need to have control. That's why they make code.
What happens, Polly, is that these beautiful people create beautiful things, and then the military or the government comes in and takes it off and then weaponizes it.
Well, so programmers are a different breed of people too.
So you're saying programmers? I disagree with you. I think anything goes right now. I think if you can think of it, you can create it. You know, we used to talk about that on Kev's show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think things have changed. And I think we've gotten to a point where it's like, I'm going to try this. That's where people are. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. And I think in some ways, almost there's a tug of war with people doing, like you said, the two AIs are right. And it's about, I'm going to try this. It's like, well, did you think about not trying this? No, because I thought of it and I'm going to try this. And I feel like that's where we are. That's where we got the yuck, and we got all the other insanity stuff going on. I'm going to try this. It's like, well, can I live in a place where you don't affect me with I'm going to try this?
Last I checked,
yeah, I see what you're saying.
The law says
but-
you can't impose something upon another being.
Well, there's the I'm gonna try this thing reminds me of how science was invented a little bit, but I think what you're saying is that we're being too reckless with trying shit.
Yes.
Without without paying attention to what we've already learned. We're just fuck I don't care what we learned already. Let's just try it again.
I'm not sure we've
just
learned
try
anything.
this.
I mean, I'm not sure anyone's paying attention to that. I'm not sure anyone is learning.
Exactly. Yeah. So because people don't have trust in the education system anymore. So what can you learn?
Well,
You can only learn by trying. I mean, it's not a bad
Exactly.
strategy, but it's reckless.
Well, it's human nature. I'm going to try this. But I think the thing is, we're moving so fast and things are escalating so quickly that have we even had a chance to see how things go? And I swear to God, I still think we're being run by an AI game. Like, this is all about, talk about programming. I feel like we get up in the morning and it's just like, well, whose AI is in charge today, right? Is it a nice one or is it the I don't give a crap one? I don't know. But can they fight?
The only
Can
thing
they take over from each other? Are they battling? That's my question. Bless you. Do you ever ask yourself, is there a battle going on right now and it felt like the better one has control for today and then the bad one has control tomorrow or yesterday? I do feel that way. I feel like we're in the middle of this two parents fighting, and the parents are drunk.
I think the good one played a joke on us yesterday by making the sunrise, the sunset, and the sunset.
Hey, at least your parents are still together.
Maybe
At least you have parents.
custody. Maybe they're trying to get custody of us, right? It's like, or maybe they're like, nah, we don't need this.
At least
many
you're not a
kids.
Cabbage Patch Kid.
Well, aren't we Cabbage Patch Kids? I think we are.
Metaphorically, we might be.
Yeah.
I don't
We all
want
come
to
with the
grow
same birth
up
certificate.
because I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Oh, remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually.
It's crazy. I feel like we're living in crazy land right now, personally.
Yeah. It's always been crazy. Just say everybody just noticed.
Maybe
and as I say, if you're not
steroids.
crazy, you won't survive in this world. You've got to be just as crazy.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Yeah.
The crazy world. Yeah. And looking at 1983, that's not even the real date, The date we have today, which is here in Australia, is the 29th of the 7th, 2023, is not the real date. That's just something that we go by. It's not the actual real time of everything. That again, when been programmed into this clock round thing for maximum efficiency, which isn't our way of living because we're not ready.
True, but I have to say it is beneficial to having one point to reference.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't do that, then we wouldn't be sitting here yarning about 1983 and all the goofy fashions and the trends. It was just fun catching up with all you we didn't really talk much about 1983, but we were there.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, this has been a pretty cool conversation, I gotta admit.
It was very cool. And it's always good to get together because there's not a lot of other people in your life you can kind of go crazy and go.
And have a yarn with,
Yeah.
without bringing them up to speed.
And creator always knows what your soul needs.
Yeah.
And I thank him for bringing my soul family together. This has just been an absolute joy. And
Yeah.
Connie and Buzz and Ron and Joe and Rotman and our extended family and chat and those who are going to watch this in the future and those who are lurking, thank you all for joining us. I can't apologize for not being here because good things are coming along the way, but it sure is great to be with family.
Yeah, it was wonderful to be here tonight, and thank you for putting this together and inviting me to join. I really appreciate it.
No, it was my pleasure. It was long overdue for all of us. We've all been doing our thing, living,
Yeah.
and doing what we have to do.
Yeah.
And Polly's got good show going on Independent Broadcast Network. Luna's doing her endeavors, and Nano's doing her endeavors as well as mine. It's just that ultimately is kind of what brings it together for me. And I'm going to be working on it, but it's like one of my favorite quotes ever. Life is like red roses and wild honey. You must taste the bitter to appreciate the sweet. And if we're not tasting that bitter and coming together when we can, this is what it's about for me. So I thank you all for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Jules. I just said,
and I thank you back.
I had some fun, and I got on today, and I had fun, and it was good to, and I was a nice surprise to see Sharon, and it's good to catch up with you, Polly.
Mm-hmm. It was good to see all of you. It's been great.
And everyone in chat and everyone that's watching tomorrow.
Yep.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah. So before we roll out, it's been my privilege, been an honor. But don't forget, come on tomorrow if you're free around 3:00 in the afternoon. Polly's got a show, and I'll be there. I might be
come to the greenhouse
along the way. Yeah, come visit us in the greenhouse.
Yeah, we're gonna play some 80s tunes.
Nice.
And maybe some of the stuff we didn't get into today, we can make some time for that too. Like, 'cause there's movies that we didn't talk about. There's other food trends we didn't talk about. I'm not saying what we talked about was bad, because I think what we talked about was amazing, and it was really good to catch up with Luna and Nano. It's been forever. It's so awesome to talk to you again. I really love bouncing ideas off you because you like. I don't want to say keep me on my toes necessarily, but you disagree with me sometimes, and I like that, because usually when you disagree with me, it's like we're sort of in a violent agreement. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, oftentimes we are in violent agreement.
Yeah, funny. We're just wording it differently. So yeah, I really enjoy talking to you, and hopefully we get to chat again soon. And Jules, thanks for having me as always. I love these shows.
My pleasure, brother.
Yep, it was good to be here and good to talk to everybody. And I haven't seen you guys in so long, so it does my heart good. Thank you.
So with that, I'm going to give some famous last words that my sister Luna always says. Yalu. Catch you next time.
Yalu.
Yalu.
Yalu.